What's up, YouTube users? I'm Player4, and here in the Ponies category, I welcome you to the debut of a series I'm doing called Reading Reactions. At least I think that's what it's going to be called. So, people on YouTube, bronies on YouTube more specifically, have done quite a bit of MLP Fanfic readings where they take a story on Fimfiction and then just read the words. Kind of like in a calming video style, I would say, but this is a little bit different. I will be reading the story, but also pausing to express my thoughts along the way, as I would do if I were watching an episode, so it's a reaction video too. On this particular day, here we are to check out a Fimfiction story called Laundry Jumble. I've been interested in this story ever since I first found it, so I put it in my Read It Later folder, but have been putting it off ever since. Here we are today, though. Let's check out this story's description first and foremost. Doing the chores in a large building like the Castle of Friendship is a hassle. Oh yeah, I'll bet. Fortunately, Starlight volunteered to do the laundry for the evening. Now all she has to do is do the job correctly, something a talented unicorn like herself can't mess up, right? Well, I mean, let's first ask the question, like, which season of Starlight are we talking about here? Because, yeah, she may have struggled with skills, like, in her first appearances during Season 6, but, like, fast forward to Season 9, and I'm not really sure. My memory is not that good in that regard. Here we have the name of the lone chapter of this story, which is Sleepwashing. I think I might already know where this is going. Like, say the word again. Sleepwashing. It's a story that's only 1,779 words long, but it sounds like kind of an intense event. So let's get going. Story reading starting now. Sleepwashing. The only chapter of Laundry Jumble. Starlight Glimmer was truly honored to be given the task of taking care of the School of Friendship and the Castle of Friendship when Twilight and Spike moved to Canterlot to begin their roles as the new Princess of Equestria and advisor. Hold on, I'm a little bit lost here. Like, she's taking care of the School of Friendship because Twilight and Spike are moving to Canterlot. Oh, okay, yeah, I didn't totally notice that at first, like, but they're moving to Canterlot, and that's just where the story starts. Like, I don't know, like, I figured, like, we'd be getting a bit of background here. She couldn't be prouder for her friend and mentor who helped her see the magic of friendship. Yeah? It was with these lessons and being with Twilight that she managed to reconnect with her past and make new friends. It was with these lessons that she wasn't the only one having to look after both the school and castle. Now she was spreading friendship her own way. I mean, like, yeah, how would you handle all that yourself? Like, I really hope Starlight does have helpers, and it looks like she does. She had a great and powerful student counselor in Trixie who manages to find time in between caring for the students and her true passion for magic tricks. Good time management there. She even helps cheer the students up in her office. When they fail a test or are just having a bad day, she would perform small tricks to make them smile for a little while. Friend Sense Full Hood Sunburst was the new vice head. Why did I say that so slowly? The two of them would be busy in the office planning the next curriculum and field trips for the students. So yeah, like here we have, you know, duties being split among school staff, which is how it should be run. Being a teacher was something Sunburst dreamed of doing, and Starlight was happy that she, with the help of Trixie, managed to make his dream come true. Big thumbs up to that. In the castle, the three of them would take it in turns to cook when one of them is busy planning lessons. Hold on. Take it in turns? I'm not really sure what that's supposed to mean, but we'll keep going. How Twilight and Spike managed to keep the castle clean by themselves before Starlight moved in with just her magic, with just their magic and claws, remained a mystery to the three of them. Well, Twilight's an alicorn, so, like, wouldn't you think that she would have just cleaned it with her magic? Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like this story knows something that I don't know. Like, maybe I'm not detecting something. It's not a sequel or anything, but, like, I'm confused about, like, why cleaning was so hard before, and also why they're moving to Canterlot. Twilight was skilled at magic, there was no doubt about that, and Spike's cooking is always hoof-licking good. I heard that once. Like, there was this, like, 60 Minutes thing back in, like, the early 2010s, I think, that featured the MLP characters answering, like, viewer questions, and I think it was an official thing, you know, voiced by the real staff and such. And like Twilight did use the phrase hoof-licking good when describing Spike's cooking, and you probably know where that comes from. And he used to clean the dishes until they were sparkling, but there were just too many rooms to do with just the two of them. Even with magic, huh? The three new residents would just laugh about their ideas around the table and continue with their share of chores. It's probably not necessary for the story, but like now I'm wondering what kinds of crazy ideas for cleaning did they have that could never work. Okay, here we get to the laundry part. Today was laundry day, and Starlight volunteered herself for taking care of Trixie's and Sunburst's robes. I feel like that sentence is worded a bit strangely, but I guess we'll just keep going. Now Starlight, the great and powerful counselor Trixie, requires that her robes be perfect for when Trixie is counseling her beloved students at the School of Friendship. Yeah, I'm trying to, like, mimic her speech patterns there. Trixie must look her best and be as professional as she should be I think they meant to say front there, of her students. Starlight rolled her eyes and magically levitated Trixie's robes from the laundry basket. Simple enough. Well, your equally great and powerful Starlight will make sure to wash them accordingly to the great and powerful Trixie's instructions. I love that. Okay, like having another pony respond in that speech pattern, golden. Good, because I am now the great and exhausted Trixie, Trixie said with a loud yawn. Seriously, how did you cope with so many students knocking at your door? So Starlight answers this so well that I managed to send a student to the Everfree Forest to study cockatrices for a project. Yeah, we were kind of there, Trixie said with another yawn. The great and tired Trixie is going to have a nice sleep. I mean, yeah, you deserve it. Any special requirements for washing your cloak? Starlight turned to Sunburst. No, Sunburst chuckled, but yawned as well. Just be sure to put them in the right closet when you're done drying them. Wow, you two, Starlight said, fighting back a yawn of her own. They're all tired. Had 3 classes to do, then a long day planning a new field trip to Whitetail Wood to demonstrate the element of kindness in nature. This takes me back to when I was studying magic in Celestia's school. Okay, so that's grabbing my attention there. You know, only one pony can truly have one element, but you see, like, Sunburst saying here that he wants to demonstrate the element of kindness in nature, you know, do that research for himself. I like that a lot. I feel like, you know, that could be a concept for more fanfics, like an entire plot of them. Like, consider, you know, a pony who's not part of the main 6, like, trying to study the element. I probably should have refilled my water bottle before doing this video. Well, I guess I'm really out of it as well, Starlight chuckled sheepishly. That's kind of a weird word. They will be ready for you in the closet when you start work tomorrow. I think it's time we hit the hay, Sunburst said, Trixie nodding her head with agreement. We'll see you in the morning. I feel like we're about to get to the big part here, because you see, you know, Starlight waved them goodnight and worked down to the corridor to the washing room, Trixie's and Sunburst clothes and hats being levitated in her magic. While she was walking, she took her time to reminisce about her time in her castle. So much has happened whilst she was here, both as Twilight's pupil of friendship and now to actually look after it. Promotion, basically. The time she flooded the whole castle when she put the element bearers under a spell. That's an episode, by the way, if you didn't remember. Every little thing she does, season 6 episode, I forget, but it'll be on screen. The time a certain messenger male pony flew through a window into some boxes of books. That time when she was unceremoniously thrown out of a window whilst she was taking a peaceful bath. I don't remember that being in an episode. Like, is that fanfic material? I'm totally not sure. The sun had gone over the horizon and the moon had replaced it by the time Starlight walked down to the basement to begin her washing duties. She just wanted to get this done and go to bed. She loved her students, but they took a lot out of her. Following her friends' preferences on how they would like their clothes to be washed, she found herself nodding off. She almost fell over into the wash bucket, having to jerk herself awake. Oh geez. Yeah, I'm seeing where this is going. You know, Starlight here, I totally get that she wants to get the job done and, like, not leave it hanging over her head as she goes to bed. But then again, like, unless there's, like, a big time crunch in the morning, then I don't think the laundry would take that long. So if she's, like, totally falling asleep, not just tired, but, you know, like, totally drowsy, then wouldn't it be better to wait until the morning? I must have been more tired than I thought, Starlight said to herself. The quicker I get this done, the quicker I can go and join the others to get some shut-eye. Again, I'm really not sure about that decision so far. She continued to rub soap and detergent into the fabric, her eyes starting to close as she worked. Wait a minute, like, do they not have, tumble dryers and, those machine washers that we pretty much all have? So, like, why is she rubbing them with soap by hand, it looks like, or by hoof? A simple drying spell finished the job. Okay, so, like, now she's just using magic? Like, couldn't she have done that for the washing part as well? Like, this story is, like, all over the place with how magic is and is not being used, I think. Like, will that be addressed near the end, maybe? A blast of hot wind emitting from her horn made sure there weren't any damp areas when they had to wear them for tomorrow. Blast of hot wind emitting from her horn. Does that hurt at all? Up until reading the story, I didn't really give any thought to how, like, doing magic spells would feel if you were one of these unicorns. That's definitely something to think about. She then began two long journey. I'm guessing the writer meant her long journey. Back to the bedrooms and turned to Sunburst room. But yeah, like, Starlight turned to Sunburst room, so, like, are they sharing a room here? Opening the door, she found her full-hood friend sound asleep, looks like it. Not wanting to wake him up, she avoided using a light spell and put the robes in the closet without making a sound. She didn't teleport to Trixie's room, instead choosing to tiptoe across the corridor to her room, and choosing to do the same thing she did in Sunburst. So yeah, like, there's an instance where doing magic, like, might be kind of counterproductive in a way. Starlight could have teleported, but teleportation creates, like, a blast of light, right? That could have easily disturbed someone's sleep. With both robes back where they belong, she brushed her teeth and prepared for bedding. Snuggling into the covers, she looked forward to another day of teaching bright minds the magic of friendship. So it doesn't look like anything crazy has happened yet. Like, the laundry is done, it looks like, and Starlight's going to sleep, but there's still more story to read. Morning came, Twilight rising the sun with practiced precision with her magical amulet. Alright, so this story is set, like, after Season 9, because Twilight is, the princess. So that's exactly why, Twilight and Spike were moving to Canterlot. Okay, I totally get it now. I don't have a post-Season 9 mind when thinking of My Little Pony. Maybe others don't either, because, like, the story just, like, the show just ends there, we don't extensively see Twilight's life as an alicorn, so I guess that's why. But yeah, I feel a bit silly that I totally missed, like, that beginning detail and totally didn't understand it. It was Sunburst who woke first, scrambling out of the sheets until he managed to fall out of the bed. Getting to his hooves, he shielded his eyes to look at the rising sun, only to realize he overslept. Did Sunburst actually, like, fall out of bed there? Like, fall off the edge and onto the floor? That's not fun. Trixie, Starlight, we overslept, Sunburst shouted, hoping they would hear him. Two thumps from the other side of the corridor confirmed that they have heard him loud and clear. Okay, so that's good at least. Forgetting that he had magic, he scrambled towards the closet, his glasses momentarily forgotten in his state of panic. Okay, yeah, I can see that happening. Like, even if you're a unicorn and, like, you're used to having magic in a, like, really quick moment like this where you're caught in a situation and you don't really know what to do other than just react, yeah, I can see how, like, you might briefly forget you have magic. Putting on the cloak and hat he had worn so many times, he found that they didn't feel right. In fact, they felt several sizes too small. Did Starlight add too much water and had shrunk while she was washing it? See, I don't really know, like, the physics of that. I have heard of, like, things shrinking in the wash before, but only in fictional stories. Like, is that actually a thing that happens? I remember, like, the first time I had heard of it, like, the characters claimed that it was because of hot water being used rather than cold water, but who knows. He hoped not. He didn't go and check himself in the mirror as he dashed down the corridors to get some breakfast, finally putting on his glasses. Trixie, not having her morning coffee yet, realized that after quickly putting on her robes, found that they were far too large for her. Her hat even covered her eyes. Okay, so, like, real-life physics don't need to come into play here, so it just looks like Starlight's magic, might have messed things up, because she didn't do it right. This is where, like, the description comes into play. So, like, Starlight was described as a skilled unicorn, I think, in the description. Was that in reference to magic? I think it was, now that we're seeing this. What did that Starlight do to the great and powerful Trixie's precious cloak, she grumbled. Her great and powerful friend is going to give her a strong talking to. Blinded by her hat, she wobbled out into the kitchen and dashed off down the corridors to get her breakfast. Trixie, you couldn't have briefly taken the hat off? Like, you don't usually wear one, it's just part of your magic costume. Why were you, insisting on wearing it in the morning? She flung open the kitchen doors to find, lifting the hat up to find Sunburst in her robes. The force and sound of Trixie opening the door caused Sunburst to spit his cup of coffee out of his mouth, and he looked in the direction of the noise to find Trixie in his robes. Okay, so we have a swap here, but how did that happen? So let's think back to where, like, Starlight was putting them in the closet. So, like, does the closet have organizations? Like, is it a shared closet? Like, with one, like, area for Trixie and another for Sunburst, but she put them in the wrong places? Definitely a mystery, at least as of now. Both looked at each other, both having their mouths opening and closing at the sight in front of them. Trixie tried to push Sunburst's hat off, but it covered her eyes again. Then both heads turned in the direction of the corridors. The way that this text is stylized is putting into my head, like, a loud shout that is louder than I can reasonably say out loud here. Starlight Glimmer! The sound of hoofsteps running was heard, and the unicorn of their annoyance appeared before them. The only thing we can do is keep reading. What is it? Starlight said whilst panting, thinking something was wrong with the school rather than what was right in front of her. Is something wrong with the curriculum? Is there a problem with the field trips? Is there... Oh. As soon as she sees and notices what's happening, she managed to calm down and took the time to look at the sight in front of her. Yes, Starlight. Oh, indeed. Trixie huffed as she jabbed a hoof at the robes she was wearing. How did you manage to get this one so mixed up? Sunburst asked with a small chuckle. I'm sorry, Starlight blurted out. I was just so tired when I found you two sleeping. I didn't want to use a light spell or teleportation to make sure you didn't wake up. Well, how very considerate of you, Sunburst sighed. But from now on, Starlight, if you're too tired to do the job right, just say it. Well, you know, yeah. Starlight nodded silently. The kitchen was awkwardly silent for a while before all three of them burst out into a fit of giggles. Okay, so, you know, they're making light of the situation. Well, that's one way to start a morning, Starlight said in between fits of laughter. Pinky's right, a day without laughter is a day wasted. Sunburst chuckled as he wiped away a tear. As much as the great and powerful Trixie finds this amazing, she would very much like her proper robes back. Starlight nodded and with quick use of her magical capabilities managed to teleport the robes back to their rightful owner. Now let's finish our breakfast and get to class quickly, Sunburst said, the others nodding their head in agreement. Starlight soon joined the table and the three of them had their breakfast quickly, ready for another busy day as headwear, vice head, and counselor to the School of Friendship. Well, I hope they didn't have to chow that breakfast down so fast to the point of making themselves sick, but that's the end of the story. We're not quite done yet, though. People other than me have expressed their thoughts on this story, so let's read the comments. Really should hire some pony to handle things like laundry. That way mishaps like this won't happen again. Yeah, like, if you had a dedicated laundry worker, definitely would prevent things like this from happening again, but I feel like, you know, a gimmick of the School of Friendship, or like a core part of their personality, is that, like, it's ponies who know each other working there, you know, like, they're friends too. So, like, if you did have a dedicated laundry worker, you know, basically, I don't feel like the school wants to hire employees in the traditional sense, based on, like, who is working there. So, like, who would have that job? Like, maybe Starlight could, like, include it into her schedule and do it during the day when she wouldn't be tired. There are quite a bit of things they could do, now that I think about it. There aren't a lot of comments on the story because it overall does not have that many views, but who knows, maybe something will happen with this video. So what are my thoughts on the story overall? Well, it definitely is a short and sweet story, as this other commenter put it, and it works really well for, like, just getting a quick laugh. You know, maybe you don't have that much time to read a story, but there are definitely shorter stories out there, and this one, it does well at living up to its comedy tag. I definitely expected something like this based on reading the title and description. And Starlight, I think, was a good character to use because, you know, she can be a bit of a goof sometimes. She still learns how to do things properly after her life was previously what it was like, so I definitely give props to this writer for choosing the characters that they did. Overall, not a whole lot to say about this story, but again, I think that's part of the appeal. Sometimes it's good to have, like, a silly little joke story every now and again. I hope you enjoyed my first ever reading and reaction. I look forward to the future of this series with all the great stuff that the Brony community has created. Make sure to subscribe if you are looking forward to more as well, and don't hesitate to give me suggestions for stories I could read in the comments. I'm always open to hearing that. Alright, that's all I wrote for this video. Player 4, turning off.